I shall grant one wish, anything that is within my power. State your wish.
What's up, guys? It's your boy Trash from TreshToons, and today we got a disappointment. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Hold up. Dragon Ball Z Gohan is the latest disappointment published by Bandai Namco and developed by CyberConnect 2, a game that was advertised as showing the full anime story in-game like you've never seen before, and you're gonna have knowledge about things that were never shown either in the manga or the anime. Relive the story of Kakarot, a Saiyan raised on Earth. Sure, they did add things that weren't in fact in the anime, but nobody told me that they would cut so much. I'm gonna talk about that towards the end of the video. And also, before anything, this whole review is my own opinion. As a hardcore Dragon Ball fan, you might see yourself in me, or you might think that I'm just a fucking idiot. However, if you don't know me, if it's the first time you're seeing me, or if you just don't know, I'm a really big Dragon Ball fan. Most of my clothes are with something related to Dragon Ball. I always have my Frieza here. I have a Frieza tattoo and a Shenron tattoo. And that whole thing is Frieza, and down there it's more Dragon Ball stuff. Plus, I got a bunch of Dragon Ball books. So I'm a really big fan of this franchise. And seeing it butchered the way it is, come on, man. We gotta have a little bit higher standards. This shit is just not right. So for the first time, I'm actually not gonna divide a review into good and bad. I'm gonna just talk. I'm just gonna say my points, and as I say the good things, I'm gonna say the bad things, but I'm gonna leave the worst for last. And even though I wasn't expecting much of this game, I think that Xenoverse 1 and 2 still did a better job than this. However, again, as always, this is my opinion. If you bought the game, played the game, and if you're still playing the game, if you're trying to unlock a secret boss, or if you're trying to complete everything, and you're enjoying it, good for you. But on my honest opinion, you'll see. I guess my first biggest complaint is that you spend most of the game watching cutscenes and playing as Gohan. So calling this game Kakarot is just ridiculous from the start. And sure, I know that both in the anime and the manga, most of the story happens around Gohan. But, you know, then name the fucking game something else. I don't know, Dragon Ball Legends, Dragon Ball Legacy of Z, Dragon Ball Z Warriors, I don't fucking know. Just call it something else. Calling it Kakarot was stupid because, you know, I'd say that 80% or 90% of the game you're playing as Gohan. But I'm gonna be honest, the first 10 hours felt really fun and fresh, letting you do things like fishing and finding a smart way to introduce it, like Goku having an artificial tail. Walks around with it, carries it all the time, stucks it up his ass, and then just goes fishing. Oh, that one is interested. They're interested, you know? Something that Bulma made for him. But in this universe, Goku asked Bulma to make him a butt plug to fish. And I get it. It's a throwback to the original Dragon Ball. And, you know, I don't want to be too harsh on this, so I actually found that pretty fun. The fishing was also pretty cool, although a bit repetitive. After you fish like 5 fish, it's always the same thing, you press 2 buttons. Other cool things that were really nice to see at the start was Goku and Gohan bonding, actually feeling like Goku was the real dad of Gohan and not Piccolo. So overall, the first few hours felt pretty good. But then you get immediately thrown into a fight with Piccolo after a screen that shows all the controls. And now just fucking figure it out, you know? Just figure out how to play this game. You better have read all that, because that's it. But hold up. If you're actually gonna burn your money on this game, it's easy. Papa Trash will teach you. All you gotta do is press circle. That's it. Every time you want to attack, press circle. You wanna dodge? X. You wanna charge? Triangle. That's it. You block with R2. You are now certified Dragon Ball Z Kakarot Championship World Fighter. How does that feel, huh? For $60. only. So let's start with the graphics. The most noticeable thing is how pretty the game looks. And I'll give it that. The game looks really pretty. It's probably the best any 3D game for Dragon Ball has ever looked, if you don't count Fighters as a 3D game. So, you know, it's probably the best it has ever looked. The bold black lines sometimes feel a bit off. I still don't understand why they insist in that. It could easily be changed with a different kind of modeling on the character, with lighting, with playing around with lighting, but I get it. For an easier reading for the player, they just go with that. So I'll give it up. Visually, the game looks really great. And now, apart from the gameplay, like the graphics while you're playing, there's also the cutscenes. This game is filled with cutscenes. You rarely actually play the game, you mostly just watch cutscenes. And there's three types of cutscenes. There's the really good looking ones, there's the okay, and there's the what the fuck is this. So the really good looking ones happen in really key, iconic parts of the game. When Vegeta gets defeated, when Frieza gets defeated, when Gohan turns Super Saiyan, when Vegito is born, and when Kid Buu dies. These looked absolutely astonishing. Sometimes at certain points you weren't even sure if you were watching an animated bit or a 3D part. It was pretty good. I'll give it up. Praise what it is due. And that part was phenomenal. Then there's the other cutscenes, the okay ones, where there's still a block of text on the screen and the characters they try to act not very awkwardly between themselves. There's story going on and there's stuff advancing. You just don't have to do anything, just sit back and watch, but don't expect any flashy moves or anything extraordinary. It's just, you know, it's just characters moving on with the story.
Hurry. Huh? Right. After them, Dodoria! Don't let them get away! Punch it, Gohan! If he catches us, we're goners!
And then there's the what the fuck are you doing? Where you have to press X to advance in the conversation, and the character movement is so fucking stiff that it makes Jump Force look good.
Okay. Man, your mom sure is strict. We're counting on you! Don't come back until you've found those Dragon Balls! On it!
Bye, Grandpa! Bye, Mom! Bye, Master Roshi!
Sorry, I can't lie. I'm sorry. No, I'm not gonna go that far. Right? It doesn't look great, but it's not that bad. Moving on to game time, I did side quests up until the start of Cell Saga. So I did all the side quests until I got to the Cell Saga. And then I was just tired of it. Because most of the side quests are fetch quests. You either go here and kill 3 Cybermen, go there and kill Red Ribbon Army enemies, go there and pick up these 3 items that are super rare and you can only find them there. It was just not fun, and none of the side questing is voice acted, so I had to read everything. I don't like that. So I just started skipping it. Having this in mind, with some or half the game side questing and the main story, my save file had 30 hours. I died, I think, 2 times by accident because I ran out of healing items, and that was it. So I'm pretty sure that you could finish this game maybe in about 25 hours if you just went through the main story. I don't think that an RPG based on a franchise that's over 30 years old and that with an anime with over 250 episodes, I don't think that $60 is a good price for the amount of time that this game offers you. The side quests are not fun, they are not exciting, they're just dog shit. They shouldn't even be there. And later on I'll explain why they should have spent less time coding this side quest and more time doing something a bit more important. The thing is, every time that I tell people that this game is too short and that they skipped a lot of important bits of the main story, the answer is always the same. On stream or off stream, every time I spoke with someone, it was always the same answer. Yeah, but then if they put everything, this game would be gigantic. Bitch, so what? So what? It's a fucking RPG, right? RPGs are known for being enormous, super big. An RPG with 25 to 30 hours is nothing. It's just the starter. You're just fucking hitting it up, dude. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That shit took me like 50 hours to finish. and I barely did any side questing. What? Look at The Witcher. Look at so many other fucking games that are gigantic, dude. The story, the time you spend telling a story in an RPG doesn't matter. What matters is that everything is there. And in this game, they skipped way too fucking much. They sacrificed way too much, way too many iconic scenes to just allow the game to be shorter. It doesn't matter. In a bit, I'm gonna run through everything that I remember that they skipped or did wrong. And believe me, adding all of this shit into the game wouldn't add more than, I'd say, 5 to 10 hours tops. I'm not saying that they should have made a game episode by episode. I'm saying that there's a lot of key moments that should be here and are not, and that would contribute to the length of the game. Not only that, but the open world isn't really open world. There's a lot of loading screens between maps, and you keep fighting the same fucking characters in open world. It's always Red Ribbon Army robots, Frieza goons, and Cybermen with different colors. If that's how you extend your game, then just don't do it. On the other hand, the character control felt pretty great, both in combat, as in the open world section. Flying and running, feels pretty nice. The animations are a bit limited, since there's no animation for swimming even, but it was never really frustrating to control my character, so I'll give it up on that. As for the voice acting, both in Japanese and English, they sounded pretty great. A lot of them were the original voices. I alternated between Japanese and English in my gameplay, both because I was streaming and both because I preferred the Dragon Ball Z characters. I prefer their voices in English. As for Super, I do prefer in Japanese. The soundtrack, is amazing. 95% though is from the anime, so it doesn't really credit much for the game. It's taken out from the anime. However, it's nice that they were able to put it in, and it's nice that you get to listen to it in a lot of iconic moments. My only issue, still talking about voice acting, when you're flying around in the open world, whenever your character detects an enemy or an item, he will say the same shit again and again and again. So we'll listen to Gohan repeating all over again, "I think I can handle this.
I 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 think I can handle this. I think I can handle this fucking nuts. Just shut the fuck up and die." Jesus, dude, it's so annoying. Or if you're playing Goku and you go inside a cave, for instance, you'll just listen. "I've never seen a rock this hard. Wow, look at this rock. I've never seen a rock this hard. Wow, look at this rock. Whoa, look at that rock. Wow, this rock is so hard." It was a bad experience, I'm sorry. The community board was sadly one of my favorite parts of the game, and the only little bit of customization that it allows you to do. As you do your main and side quests, you will unlock character medals. Each character has different skill points in different areas, and depending on where you put them, on which page you put them, so to say, they will trigger some voice acting between each other. So if you, let's say, put Tien and Chao's, they will have one conversation. But if you put Tien, Chao's, and their master, from the Crane School, you will get another conversation. Now, it was really fun for me to do this, mostly because I was always curious to see what the characters would speak with each other, so that was pretty fun. On top of that, you get to increase your character points, you get to unlock even more bits, and that's pretty nice. It was a pretty nice, chill side part of the game customization. Putting the characters together side by side will unlock some passives. Getting more items from a quest, or getting more defense, getting more health. All passive effects that will make your playthrough a little bit different, but not dramatically different. There's also a section where you get to see cards that you collect by gifting items and increasing the friendship with these medals, so to say. And these cards are actually something that I have in real life, and I grew up with collecting these cards, so it's a really pretty nice throwback. Now the skill tree, it looks like it was made by a 3rd grader on their lunch break. You collect orbs around the world to unlock skills, to then reach some skills that need special training, which is where you just fight AI, and then you unlock that skill. From then on, you get more orbs, more skill, more orb, more skill, more orb, more skill, train, more orb, more skill, more orb, more skill, train. This is fucking pathetic. It's stupid, and you should feel bad about it. Whoever came up with this shit. This is horrible. This is not acceptable. The fighting system, oh my fucking god. This is so bad. And I've heard people praising this shit. This is so bad. Enemies feel like rocks. Whereas you can attack them with your special attacks, let's say a Kamehameha wave, right? They will not get interrupted. If they're making a skill, if they're building up a skill or an attack, whatever attack, they're not gonna get interrupted. They're gonna cut through your shit and beat the shit out of you. Alright? But if you're making the skill first and they attack you, then they interrupt you. Not to mention that most of the time they have this plot armor where they're charging up a skill and it doesn't matter. You can beat the shit out of them. You finish your combo, they're gonna beat the shit out of you immediately. That part was super frustrating. The fighting system is stupid and too basic. You press circle to combo, to attack, and you unlock combos by unlocking the skill tree. You know, most of the time you're just sitting there pressing circle, and then you dodge with X, and then you make some skills and you defend, and that's it. It's so basic, so stupid, so lacklustering, so there's no passion in this, there's no fun in this. Visually, I get it. It's nice to see what's going on the screen, but playing it, it's dog shit. And there's nothing you can do to make it better. Sometimes you can break the enemy's defense, but it's so random that it's not fun. You also get to transform during battles. Of course, you unlock your transformations depending on where you are in the story. And some stuff they kept canon. For example, if Goku is in Super Saiyan, he reverts to base form to do a Spirit Bomb, and then he reverts back to Super Saiyan, because he cannot do a Spirit Bomb if he's in Super Saiyan form. It requires too much energy. However, later on in the story, as you're playing with Ultimate Gohan fighting Super Buu, in my case, I turned Super Saiyan. Now, it didn't make me stronger, but I was still able to do it, and that was bad. They should have locked it out in that part of the story. Later on, sure, let you go again into Super Saiyan, because transforming takes a lot of your ki. But, you know, in certain parts of the story, it would make sense to not get some transformations. That was pretty fucking stupid. But now, again, praising where it is due. In some fights, iconic fights. Again, one of the examples, Kid Buu's fight with Goku. If they're charging up a really big attack, like a World Ender from Buu, there's this little yellow bar above the character that if you keep hitting it or you throw your attack, you will break their stance, I suppose you can call it like that, and you get a chance to have a small little cinematic during the fight where it zooms in, it really smears the characters' faces as you're punching them, and it looks really good. However, throughout the entire game, this happened like 4 times, so it's so good that, you know, it should happen more. Not to mention, dying is almost impossible. You can just stock up on almost infinite healing items because money is super easy to make, and, you know, just there's no risk or reward. Fighting system, 0. The thing that really pissed me off about the game was the fact that they skipped so much of the iconic parts of the anime that just it ruined the experience for me, because I knew that there was stuff missing. And I get it that maybe the game would take more time to do, and I get it that we did not have to follow the anime episode by episode, but there's some iconic things that are changed or missing. You want to know what fucked up this game the most? This. Peggy 12. The game is extremely censored. Not only that, not only being extremely censored, it's just there's a lot of different things, and I'm gonna name them, the ones I remember at least. So sit back, relax, and just, you know, listen to a middle-aged man start complaining about a cartoon that was not well adapted in a game. Also, of course, spoilers. Piccolo not losing his arm fighting Raditz. Raditz and Goku not having a hole through their chests. That's censored. The Snake Way is a screenshot. You never actually get to play any of it. Hell is completely skipped. There's no mention of it. There's no gameplay in it. It just didn't exist. 90% of Goku's training in King Kai's planet is screenshots. And what pissed me off the most was when I finished the game, you actually get to go to King Kai's planet and walk around. There's no bubbles. There's no Gregory, there's no chance of minigames, nothing in this planet. You don't get to play it until the end of the game, and still nothing happens there. Nappa never does his mouth beam, his special attack. The Cyberman come out of a bottle he throws. He doesn't pour it onto the ground, nothing like that, just throw the bottle, Cybermen show up. Tien's arm comes out like a Lego piece. Basically, Nappa punches it. There's no insane power-up from Nappa like in the anime that even burns Tien's hand. It just punches it and pops it off. There's no part with Nappa and Vegeta what's his power level? They just casually talk about his power level. Like, what's his power level? Oh, it's over 5,000. Oh, wow. There's no dramatic scene here. Nobody's shocked about Goku being strong. Gohan, after turning into Ozaru and falling on top of Vegeta, keeps his clothes. Why? Because it's censored. Traveling to Namek is pretty much 2 or 3 screenshots. There's no scene inside the spaceship with Bulma, Gohan, and Krillin. Just, you know, nothing of that. Nothing of that happened. Nothing of what happened in the space actually happened. They just went there. They went to Namek really easily. There's never a mention about either Goku or Piccolo's weighted clothes. Something that's really iconic in the anime. And even Dragon Ball The Legend for Sega Saturn got that right. Bulma is never shown to have a crush on Zarbon. Therefore, Bulma isn't even shocked or even gets to see Zarbon transforming into his real form. There's no Ginyu Force theme. Yep, there's a lot of songs, but there's no Toku Sentai. Toku Sentai, Toku Sentai, copyright, so I'm not gonna put it here. There's also no Ginyu Force theme moves like Bertha and Jace, nothing of that. You fight them together, but they don't do anything together, they just attack you. There's no part where Gohan is just shocked that from now on his life on Earth with Chi-Chi and his dad are gonna be where his dad is actually a purple, horny alien. Nothing of that happens. Bulma is never turned into a frog. Goku training inside the ship on his way to Frieza never happens. Oh, also, fake Namek never happens. Goku never bites Frieza. Goku's transformation into Super Saiyan takes about 30 seconds. Vegeta reaching Saiyan doesn't have even a fourth of the impact. There's no tantrum, there's just an angry guy talking with Bulma. Also, throughout the entire training, which never happens in the actual chamber, it's always like kind of virtual reality, he always keeps his Batman clothes. That pink shirt and the yellow pants, that's how he plays throughout the entire training campaign, so to say. The Garlic Jr. saga never happens, or is mentioned. However, this is filler, so I'll give that one up. Trunks and King Cold don't even speak to each other. So there's no talk about his sword. He just kills Frieza, like he should, teleports to King Cold and blasts him. That's it. Goku mentions that he learned a new technique called instant transmission. However, he doesn't show it to anyone. He just puts his fingers on his forehead, talks, and continues talking. There's no part where he teleports back to Roshi's house, steals his glasses, and come back. No, they have to assume what instant transmission is. Android 19's death is so different. In the anime, he grabs Vegeta by the arms, Vegeta puts his feet on his face, rips his arms out, flies in the sky, and kills him. Well, here, he blasts him. That's it. There's no arms ripping off. There's nothing of that. It's too violent, so it doesn't happen. You don't actually get to see how aggressive Vegeta is. When the androids 17, 18, and 16 are shown, they are shown immediately killing Dr. Gero, the creator. There's not much of a mention, or no mention at all, about the bomb inside them with the little remote, and they just show up in a destroyed lab that they destroyed, with 16 waking up behind them by himself, and they just mention that he's a previous model and a weaker model. And that's it. That nothing of this happened like this. When Goku ends up healing his heart problem and wakes up, instead of Chi-Chi and Roshi finding him at the beach, training, attacking, you know, throwing attacks into the ocean, and having Chi-Chi jumping out of the window, all that romantic thing where he lifts Chi-Chi up in the air and that shit, nothing of that happens. Goku just, you know, shows up in the living room.
Welcome to Chili's.
I'm ready. All the love and drama that can happen in there, completely cut off. The time chamber doesn't have a door. When you go into Kami's lookout and you look at where the door should be, there's a wall. There's no door. They didn't model the door. At any fucking point in the story, there's a door. Even when they're using it, there's no door. There's no door anywhere. It's ridiculous. Trunks never goes beast mode. No, he just goes Super Saiyan. That's it. You know, when Trunks went like super fucking huge in the anime, just that doesn't happen. No. We're not gonna model a new Trunks just for one part of the game. Come on. Cell is never shown absorbing the humans. There's a mention in the news that the monster is going around killing everyone, and once you go into town, you do see the clothes on the ground, but you never really see him sucking up people in any cutscene or anything like that. So, for someone who's never seen how he does it, it might seem a bit confusing. Cell also never really goes around on a rampage destroying islands. He mentions that he will destroy them if 18 doesn't show up, but he never actually does it. While in the anime, he just fucking destroys half of the continent. Now, everybody's favorite part, where you get to drive around with Goku and Piccolo, they're wearing their fighting clothes. There's no Piccolo with a t-shirt and a hat, nothing of that. They're wearing their fighting clothes. Also, you can't crash into any car. There's really nothing wrong you can do while driving a car. Therefore, it kind of doesn't show how clumsy Goku is driving. Cell is never shown creating the arena for the Cell games. It just shows up, and it's right next to the highway, which is ridiculous. Mr. Satan shows up by himself. There's no backup crew. There's no chopper. There's no truck, there's nothing. He just walks in by himself out of nowhere. Goku never gives Cell a Senzubin. Now, if all the things I've said so far were meaningless for you, if you watch the anime, you know how important this is. Because it really shows that Goku is healing the enemy before the enemy beats the shit out of his son. This is really important, and it never happens. 16's relationship with Gohan is resumed in a quest where Gohan finds 3 poachers about to kill some deer, and then you fight Red Ribbon Army robots instead of the poachers, and 16 says he likes animals. Therefore, when 16 dies, censored by the way, it's kind of fucking random why did that in specific trigger Gohan. It's very brushed over. Vidal's forehead. Gohan, the Vidal, and the robbers scene happened really fucking randomly. It's in the middle of the road, and you actually fight, again, Red Ribbon Army robots, and again, it's just completely different from everything you've ever seen. Really weird. Vidal's forehead. When you fight Goten for the first time, when you start training, and he shows you that he can turn into a Super Saiyan, he's flying. In the fight, he's flying. Later on, Gohan is teaching Vidal how to fly, and mentions that, you know, Goten just learned it at the same time as her. However, before she even arrived, Goten was flying and fighting you in Super Saiyan. But of course, they're not gonna ground the fight. For one fight, they're not gonna change the coding, right? Fuck that. Fuck the actual canon lore. Vidal's forehead. The World Tournament feels fucking empty. Literally, it seems like 10 guys showed up for the World Tournament. Goku never mentions how it's weird that Krillin has hair now, and a daughter, and an android wife. The punching bag scene before the World Tournament never happens. The mystery fighter, which is actually Goten and Trunks, never happens. You don't fight in the tournament at all. No juniors, nothing. You just see a cutscene of Videl versus Popovich. Shin shows up, helps up Gohan, the usual. But you don't actually get to play, and you don't actually see any fights besides Vidal and Popovich. Yakon's fight with Goku was completely fucking random. In the anime, he lives in a planet that's complete darkness, and by absorbing light, he gets stronger. Goku kills him by powering up while he absorbs the light from his Super Saiyan form and explodes. You know, you just beat the shit out of him here. Of course, he can, during the fight, absorb your energy, but he dies by punching him. Gohan and Dabura's fight are missing some details. Shin never explains that Majin Buu absorbed all the Kais, including the Grand Supreme Kai, which is what makes him so kind. That's never explained. Majin Vegeta and Goku's fight, one of the most iconic fights in the anime, one of my favorite fights in the anime. You fight it, you play it, but you don't actually get to see the resolution. You never see Goku pinned against a rock and Vegeta shit talking to him. You never see like those really cool punches between them. No, that's just some, you know, some screenshots and that's it. Mr. Satan gets shot. The dog doesn't, which is what actually triggers Buu. But we skip that part. The whole scene inside Super Buu's body, where they go inside as Vegito, they find that their friends are inside cocoons, and they take them out. Nothing of that happens. They do get absorbed, and then they're shown flying out with their friends in their hands. The peaceful world part of the story, which technically should be after Super, but it still happens in Z, doesn't happen. They never show Oob, they never show teenager Goten and teenager Trunks, they never show Trunks' sister, nothing of that. That just doesn't happen. You kill Kid Buu, the game ends. And there's other things that I've forgotten as well, but I think this gives you quite an extensive idea of what they're missing. Honestly, I really wish I could give this game a good score, but I feel like all the reviews that I've been seeing that have been sucking on this game's dick, I don't know what they're doing, but the game's absolutely shit. This game is not worth 60 bucks. It's just not. Maybe 30 for the fact that it has characters that work. Other than that, I don't think the game is worth it. My review for this is a 4 out of 10. And it only gets 4 because it looks pretty and it sounds pretty. And that's it. If you're thinking about buying the game, I would say no. If you want a real RPG, Final Fantasy VII Remake is on its way. Once again, this was my opinion, based on my own experience, my own tastes. If you still like the game, go for it. There's people that like Death Stranding, right? Thank you so much for watching. If you want one of these, I drew it myself. There's a bunch of others. Links in the description. Thank you so much for watching. Check all the other social media and all that shit. And I'll see you on the next one. Stay tuned.